Gordon Ramsay will lay out the rules for his competitions where he's like, you're going to cook breakfast, traditional, continental, beautiful. And one team will be eliminated. You'll vote for someone. They'll come up, and I'll choose between the teams, because there's red and blue team, guys and girls, who's eliminated. And, within, I think it's 11 minutes of the show, he's breaking all his own rules and, doing sneaky things where he's like, I've decided. You're all eliminated. And it was like, it's like, what? You can't do this. He's just randomly you're out. Someone burned. There was some guy who couldn't cook the cod right. He was panicking, and he burned so many pieces of cod that Gordon's like, we're waiting on the fucking cod. And the guy's like, we're out of cod. And he's like, what do you mean we're fucking out of cod? You burned all the fucking cod. Listen to me. Get out! It screamed at him, and he made him leave. And he's like, I've never had a contestant burn all of an ingredient. Just all of
He hands him a fishing rod.
Yeah. Oh, and there's competitions that don't make sense. He's like, none of you can figure out how to cook scallops. And so you must dig in this 5-ton pile of ice and find the 40 scallops and then cook them perfect. And these are morbidly obese chefs. They're really struggling after a couple minutes in the sun. 100% of them are smokers. There's one woman on there who's 27. It's claimed she's 27, but it's the oldest looking 27-year-old. I bet she's 6'1", a cool 550. That's a
full-sized woman.
And she's so much bigger than all the other women that she just domineers over them. And one of the other women on the team is just like, nobody, you fucked up the scallops. Don't get mad at me because you weigh 5 million pounds. And
she said that?
And she said
That's
that.
That's a big dick move.
2011 reality shows, way better. Way better. They were.
I have watched
brutal.
every season of that show. It's what's it called again? It's
Hell's Kitchen.
Hell's Kitchen.
It's tremendous. This is the first time I remember watching it.
Dude, I fucking love it. I've watched every seasons. I'll tell you what I do though, and it makes the episodes better for me. I fast forward through all the competitions. I only want to see them cook. I don't care about when they're out there in kayaks. They do a lot of physical-ish competitions. Mm-hmm. Even if it's just cook this and then you have to balance it on a board and run over there or something like that. It's so ridiculous when the fat people start trying to compete. And it's clear that they're handicapped, essentially. They can't do this shit. And it's just comical. I don't like any of that, though. I just want to see them cook.
It's funny to watch them in the physical challenges. I like and watching them argue with each other. That's entertaining. I like that.
I like when they argue. I like when he tears them down. I like watching them cook when it's, even if they do a good job at the cooking, I like that because I like cooking shows. I like learning technique. I don't know why they're having such a hard time with the scallops. I can fucking cook a scallop.
Do you remember what I'm talking about? They could not. It was 2 full episodes of these fuckers not being able to figure out scallops. And there was only one time that jumped out at me watching it that it was clearly Gordon trying to just amp it up for no reason about the food. It was some guy named Luigi Calamazzanamini or something. He's this big fat Italian guy, and he's just like, my dad's been feeding me prosciutto since I was born, and he's like, I'm taking the New York style slice. I can make that for sure. He makes it, and it's a little bit floppy, just exactly like New York style is a little floppy. It's not extra crisp, and he brings it over there. He's so proud. They show the plate on the screen, and I'm like, now this is a delicious New York style pizza. A little bit of flop, but still crisp on the back end, nice and good. And Gordon goes, what the fuck is this? This is not New York style crisp pizza. Throw it, and he throws away this delicious pizza, and this fat Italian guy's just like, but I know this. I know that was right.
Or he'll make them fail on purpose. He'll pick it up by the crust and let all the toppings slide off. Your toppings weren't glued on. And it's just well, of course they weren't. You're supposed to get this thing and fold it together and then eat it. Dude, you just made him fail on purpose.
I want to see someone alpha Ramsay, right? He should be what?
Impossible. What? He's too alpha.
He's ready to fight.
If you're a you can't hit the host. New York chef, then you can say, no, you fucking limey Brit. This is what a New York pizza is. Welcome to my world. You don't tell me what a pizza is from New York. Maybe you know London pizza.
You're being screamed over 3 words in. He goes bananas. And one guy, he got mad at some guy, and the guy goes, all right, baby, I'll get it right next time. And he goes, did you just fucking call me baby? You. Out! And it's the middle of dinner service, and at one point, there's 8 people on each team. He kicked out 6 people from
So
one
just
team.
two left,
it's
and
just
they're
two
running
people
around.
left trying to do it.
But the pots and pans didn't leave, just the people who were tending them. So now these two people have to run around herding cats, like, oh God, like stirring eggs and flopping fucking flambe, and just, it's ridiculous.
And the side that loses, like it goes. I was gonna say borderline fear factor. No, straight up to fear factor sometimes. To the boys' team lost the scallop challenge, and he was like, "You fucked up. More scallops. We could have fed the restaurant twice, you dimwits," or whatever he said. And he's like, "So you will all be drinking scallop shakes. We've taken the scallops you overcooked and ruined last night, liquefied them. Enjoy." and like they all had to do that. And the fat guy on the team helped out. He like helped out with some other people, you know, eating it and everything, drinking it. The same way, this fat bitch on the women's team, it really showed the value in having a fat person on your team. The women's team, when they lost, they had to eat a bunch of testicles. And all the women were being complete baby bag bitches about it. They were like just cooked. It probably just tastes like meat. Pretty bland though, didn't look seasoned, but whatever. And all of the women were like taking like half pieces and doing like, "Ugh, ugh." The fat bitch is like, "That's 6." And she's like, she is powering through this plate of testicles. Like, I'm pretty sure they'd ask her to stop because of the challenge. You know, it wasn't one person doing it, but yeah, I think she ate 8, 9 testicles. Just
I
was
like her
hungry.
now. I'm a little scared, but I
hungry.
like her in general.
Yeah, I like her too.
She
And
swallows.
the thing about Ramsay, like, I've never seen him back down. Like he's ready to fight. Like he's willing to fight if it comes to it. I'm not saying he's a badass or that he's going to win the fight,
Oh, he's a total badass. I love.
but
it
he's
for it.
down to fight.
No,
like if
Badass implies to me that he's a fighter. Like it, I want to have.
Yeah, I'm not saying that.
Colby.
Yeah.
No, you're not. Taylor did. I want to have Colby Covington compete on the show and see how that goes. You know, like
he would hit Gordon Ramsay, Gordon Ramsay would sue him, and Colby would be fighting for Gordon Ramsay for the next 3 years.
okay,
Or
I want that.
Gordon would be too quick with a sharpened knife. Shing, 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 shing.
Oh, if you give Gordon Ramsay the knife, I'm going with Gordon Ramsay every time.
Do you
Yeah.
really think?
I really think
regular
Gordon Ramsay
guy-
with a knife beats up Colby Covington. Yes.
Really?
Dude, Colby Covington comes at him before he knows both of Colby's nipples are perfectly cut in Gordon's palm. 30 seconds each
fingers are
side.
diced.
Perfection. One flip, and it's done.
I hadn't really considered Gordon Ramsay is a knife expert, right? I think of him as an old white guy, which is what he also is.
He's fit too.
He's really fit. He takes every opportunity, as I've said before, to show off the bod.
fit, but
He's British fit.
The other guy is
muscular.
Colby Covington.
Yeah, but the other guy has a razor sharp Japanese knife.
Yeah.
That's true. And well, does Colby know how to cook? Because he won't even be in the competition long enough to get in a fight.
I doubt. I bet he eats like chicken breast and broccoli for a living or something. He's a fighter.
Probably. Yeah.
Like boring, bland, but very nutritious food.
I'll tell you what. I'll care about it as much as I care about season 4 of MasterChef. Right? They let a blind girl win a cooking competition somehow, and it's such bullshit. Because, and I'm not like anti-blind here, but there were like seeing competitors who were actually talented chefs, and they got kicked out for like.
Yeah. I am anti-blind, and it's bullshit.
When they get down to, I know he outed Helen Keller.
Yeah.
When it got down to 4 people remaining,
Piece.
they do this thing where, all right, it gets down to 4 people remaining, and so they pair off into teams of 2, and whichever one has the best dish, they're safe that night. The team that has the worser dishes that lose that competition, they now have to face off against each other, and one of them leaves the show. And it's like right away that like they let the blind chick choose her teammate because she like
How?
She by name, and she picks the best cook on the show, obviously Becky, and so Becky has to plate for 6 people. Like it's not just the host of the chef; it's also like 3 famous chefs, like world famous. So she has to cook and serve for 6 people. Meanwhile, the other team has 2 people. She gets completely fucked over and she loses the show
Seems
because
like Becky should win.
that's what I was thinking. They should have been like, wait, you're missing 2 things off the plates. And it's like, well, I was working with a blind girl. That's what she should have said. Actually, the camera trickery that they're using and the editing skills to make it seem like a blind girl is still in this competition 10 weeks in are what really meant that you didn't get your rice cake, sir.
That's why you get your rice cake, sir. We were trying to magic a blind girl into winning. It was such nonsense. They showed her cut. They showed her cut things twice in the whole show. I watched an entire season of this shit. She went, and she's got a helper all the time, and the helper's like, "That's good." And it's like, you're cutting a piece of fish with a razor sharp knife. There's no way she's cutting all that shit. The time I actually saw like what she really does was when they did the thing where like, all right, you four are gonna run a kitchen.
Yeah.
And like for a restaurant. And like team 1 has 4 people running a side of the kitchen, and team 2 is running the other side of the kitchen, and they're competing against each other or whatever. And I'm like, so what is the blind chick doing in a professional kitchen where you see people moving fast, boiling water and stuff? She's standing there picking like cilantro leaves off the stems. She's the team leader, by the way.
Dropping them onto the ground.
Yeah, she's filling she's been filling that bowl, which happens to be the trash can, for 3 fucking hours. They asked one of the co-hosts, like this guy Joe, who's like the meaner Gordon Ramsay, like, where do you think she fits into the kitchen? He's like, in the coat room.
I mean, it sounds like Joe's right.
And I was thinking, like, how's she ever gonna get my coat back to me? She doesn't know who I am or what I was wearing. She has no fucking clue. She's blind. So she's picking the stuff apart. She's the team leader, which means she's the one who's supposed to be like, more salt in that. Hey, get back over there. You need to be making more salmon patties. But she's fucking blind. So her helper has to be like, she's not stirring that. And then the blind girl goes, stir that more. And it's like, there's no way this is how y'all ran a fucking kitchen for 3 hours tonight.
Oh yeah.
There's no way
when you're like, when your ability to know when something is done is to like just catch it when it starts burning and smoke fills the air.
How would I use a blind person, right? If I'm cooking,
so many ways.
I would just make her my KitchenAid mixer. Right, that would be her job.
They have a KitchenAid mixer.
Well, we also have a blind person. We're trying to find.
She's also a little Asian
job
girl.
Creator.
No elbow grease, Woody. No elbow grease. Little Asian girl. All right.
Does she win the whole thing?
She won the whole fucking thing. In episode 3, they made apple pies, and she was crying because she thought her apple pie was ugly. Gordon Ramsay's like, "How do you think your pie looks?" And she's like, "Probably like trash." She's crying, and he's like, and for the first time, the camera cuts the pie. Like the audience sees it for the first time. It's beautiful. And he's like, "It's beautiful." And he starts like just really pumping her up, and she's crying, and I'm fucking crying watching this nonsense. And then like 10 episodes in, I'm
propaganda.
Like, I've seen too many good seeing women get cast aside so that this blind bitch can win this fucking $250,000. At the end, you get a cookbook. What do you do? Put it in Braille? Is it a Braille cookbook?
PKA, you were pro blindy.
I finished.
You're tiered.
I didn't know they were going to let her win.
I was giving you new pronouns. You were so lame over.
You're a flip flopper.
I didn't know they were just going to let her win. They just let her win.
What if the reveal had been that she's not blind and that was strategy the whole time?
I'm glad you brought that up. That's my closing argument. I'm 45% sure this bitch is not blind because there's multiple. Here's they have an audition at the beginning. It's like everyone who won the regional events gets brought to LA, like 40 or 50 of them. Show us that blind bitch. Is that what you're doing? Yeah, look at her. What you looking at, honey? What are you looking at? Yeah,
I mean, she's getting in the. No, she's. Oh, that's
she's
chicken or something. I thought she had her hand in a bowl of milk.
I thought she was measuring the depth of the milk.
She's got her hand there, so she knows when she's got enough. That's what she's doing. She's very blind.
I feel bad for her for being blind, but that's not fair to have her win if she can't even cut stuff.
She can cut stuff. She'll be like, "Where's my chef's knife?" And she'll fumble around for it, and then she's got it. It's great.
You said it was slowly, though. Like, the whole thing of these competitions is like Gordon screaming at them like, "Why are you fucking stupid? Get it done!"
Not this one so much, but like in the very first episode, the audition episode, she's got that unfortunate thing that blind people get where their eyes are all wonky and one's looking left and one's looking right. And if the camera is positioned just right, you can really make that worse. They did that. They gave her like fucking hammerhead eyes, and she was like squid. What's that fucking that Pixar cartoon where there's that one weasel with the eyes on the side?
Oh, Sid the Sloth.
She went full Sid the Sloth on him with the way they like hit her. By the end,
pine cones.
Yeah, that's it. She's all wonky eyed there. By the end,
she looks normal. She looks normal there.
That sounded racist, but
don't make fun of her. She's all right. We can make fun of her because she's blind, but not because she's Asian. Woody, you're this close.
Crossing the line, dude.
You're this close.
You called it.
I call that the Shanghai line there, and I won't allow you to cross it.
That is That's really unfair that they let her win. I'm
Not
sure
an
she's a great chef, but it kind of. Can you imagine like every single runner-up knew why they didn't win, but they can all like rationalize it, like, oh yeah, I was in the season where the blind lady won. Obviously, I was a better chef. Like no, like if Gordon is making a business decision, usually on these shows, the winning prize, at least on Hell's Kitchen or whatever it is they get a job at one of Gordon's restaurants, like a full-time job. He would not hire a blind woman to work at his restaurant.
In this one, the prize is $250,000, and you get a cookbook that they then promote through with the whole next season of the show. And you come on an episode of the next season, cook a dish, and then the contestants have to do one of your dishes from your cookbook. So you get like multiple episodes of a big TV show devoted to pushing your book. She now owns a restaurant in Texas.
So she has to write a book she can't read?
She wrote a book she couldn't read. Yeah.
I love the idea that she gets hired at a Gordon Ramsay restaurant and she works there for 2.5 weeks without knowing it's a Wendy's.
Oh, no.
Why do we fry so much here?
Shut up, Adam. Just say yes, chef.
So is she going to come back and host a challenge where everybody has to cook blindfolded next year? I mean, that
would be
absolutely obvious, right?
Oh, here's the best part
of it. It's like, you're all going to do a challenge in my world, and Gordon turns her to face the contestants. Like, that would be
So like one of the things I learned real quickly when I started like trying to cook a little bit was like a real chef's knife, like that you keep sharp, is super dangerous. And we forget, you don't realize how much you would cut yourself when you start using a good knife, you cut yourself. I guess what I'm getting at. They do this thing in the audition where they've narrowed it down to like 50, 60 people. There's still a crowd of assholes, and they line them up with like apples, and they're like, peel and slice those apples as uniformly as you can. I want perfect half slices of apples, no more and no less than 1/8 inch thick, as many as you can do. And they're like, all right, where's the peelers? The knives are right there. No peelers. So now you've got 60 people as fast as they can peeling and slicing apples with razor sharp sponsored kitchenware, and they're constantly going, medic. Like, some of them have so many bandages on their hands that they're just they put the bandages on and then they put gloves over the bandages, so they look like balloon animal hands that they're like slicing with at this point, because they've cut every fucking finger, some of these dopes. And meanwhile Gordon's walking around like, fail, like not even letting them finish.
These bloody apples.
He always makes sure it's always something different. It's not always apples. It could be carrots or potatoes or whatever the fuck. He gets down to two of them left. One of you gets to fight for $250,000. The other's going home fucking today. Like, you just got to Los Angeles. Like we haven't even gotten to the cool studio yet. Whoever I think is the better apple slicer, and they're 2 hours in to slice. There's a pile of fucking apples.
It's an endurance challenge.
These people are looking pale from blood loss. And like one poor asshole leaves like an apple stem in, and he's like, get the fuck out of here. And like Susie, you're going to Hollywood or whatever.
Are you blind?
And they continuously do that old bit where he's like, Tommy, take your apron off and put it back on extra tight because you're staying.
That's like, so stupid.
Oh, I love the Gordon fake outs.
I hate it. It's so cliche at this point. It's so lame. And yeah.
All right. So here's my best.
Sometimes it gets you.
My best and final observation from watching MasterChef. They had a season where they've got, it's all white people and Asian people. One black guy. He's 7 feet tall. Really talented chef. He ended up becoming in second place in that season. 7 foot tall guy. Blind. This is the blind chick season. He gets voted off though. Now there's only 6 remaining. But then at the beginning of the next episode, now there's only 6 remaining. And now it's time for the celebrity chef. Coincidentally, look who it is. It's Paula Deen. Oh, it's crazy. They kicked the black guy off, and now here's Paula Deen. Cooked some shrimp and grits for y'all. With smiling with her big fake teeth and everything. And I
appreciate that favor he did for me last episode.
Right. And that's what I thought. I was like, that's funny. I wouldn't have been surprised if like the black guy was like, I will not be on TV with Paula Deen. I know what she said. Because this is around that time. Like that wouldn't surprise me. The next episode, after Paula Deen's gone, Gordon says, I've got an idea. We're going to have a competition with everyone who's been kicked off the show. One of them's coming back. They bring the black guy back the next episode. He's on the show, off the show for a single episode. Paula Deen comes in and then right back in. They did a workaround. I guarantee that's what happened. It's too perfect for it not to be true, and it's too funny for it not to be true.
Now that is funny, but Gordon has done the "you're out, but bring him back in" before.
It fits too well.
Maybe it is funnier to believe it's because
not everything's a psyop, Kyle.
Paula Deen. It's like
this is Paula Deen psyop.
No, I'm fine with the blind girl. You know what the issue
MasterChef
is.
over on Hulu. It's a fucking ball. I didn't watch anything else this week. I didn't catch up on Halo. I didn't watch anything else. I don't think. I've just been watching Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah, the boys' team tends to not be as good as the girls' team.
It's cooking. It's
aggravating. Yeah, it is
girls'
cooking.
work. Yeah.
But Gordon's really good.
He should be on the boys' team. Really, they need some help.
He should. I want to see one season where a guy wins. Come on, please.
They mix the teams as they get down. I mean, eventually it's going to be like 6v2.
Eventually they do, where like the two people have to vote to get him off. And like this most recent episode, he did like the thing where he's like, Steve, Nick, why are you both up here? And they'll be like, Steve, give me your jacket. Because we're giving you a blue one. You're on the blue team now. And it's like, they're like, oh, you got me, Gordon. You fucking got me. And every once in a while, he'll be like, Susan, you're gone. I'm done with it. And the person will sit there and be like, is he going to say back in line? And it's like, give me your fucking jacket. You're gone. Like, just like, it just takes them out because they're expecting to get fooled around. But every once in a while, he gets you real good with like a Woody. Back in line, and it's like, oh, it's like, oh, I survived.
He's just fucking with him at that point.
He was doing like these interviews, like one-on-one interviews with every single contestant except for this weird dude. He seems like he's speeding all the time. Who was like pacing around the upstairs, the little area, like looking at the phone, waiting for the call. And Gordon's like in his office, like purposely not calling this guy. Everyone else has been called, and then he calls him and is like, Josh, are you the only one left up there? And the guy's like, yeah, do you want me to come down? I'm sorry, chef. Do you want me to come to your office? It's like, well, would I come? Have you come to my office? I've already spoken to everyone. It's like, but you want me to? Oh, you do want me to come to your? I've already spoken to everyone, Josh. What are you on about? And he's like, he's like, get your ass down to the office, Josh. Jesus, he's just fucking with him. He left him up there the longest to make him think that he got kicked off. Gordon's hilarious. He's a very funny
He's a
guy.
bit of a dick.
And you can tell in scenes where he's like, the scallops are fucking raw, you moron. And like he turns around and he's like, he's like having fun berating people. Fucking idiots can't handle scallops and risotto.
They are bad. I wonder if they're like the bit I saw, something was, it was a pasta. I'm sure he called it by the pasta name. And they went to serve it, but it would still break.
Yeah.
The fuck? I'm not a chef and my pasta's not that bad.
Exactly.
How do you have raw pasta you're going to send out to customers like that?
They clearly panic sometimes.
Another guy was doing like some sort of lobster gravy or something. Bisque. I don't know what the fuck it was. And there was literally no lobster in it. He pours the whole thing out onto like a cookie sheet type thing. And you can observe that there's no lobster in it. And it's like... These are chefs. This is incomprehensibly bad. How? What is happening here?
That was the guy. The guy who did that was Randy, one of our favorites. He's a military chef, like an army cook, and he's actually pretty. Like, he doesn't know how to cook. He's been on the line about to get kicked off before, and like he's not a good salesperson. Gordon be like, "Why do you even belong to be? Why should you be here?" And he's like, "I can't cook most things as good as them, but I cook some things real good." It's like you're selling yourself so badly, and like. Every single challenge, it'd be like, I want you to blow me away with a Tuscan original. And they'll be like, I'm going to try a Tuscan cheeseburger. And one of the challenges that worked out great, Everyone was ripping on him like, and that fucking idiot Randy's making another cheeseburger. And like, he goes and serves it to the judges. And they're like, this looks awful, Randy. Your plating is terrible. It's just, I wouldn't like it if this was served in my restaurant, but it is far and away the best tasting thing we've had all day. We're giving you 5 points, 5 out of 5. And it's like, damn, good for you. Like going in there confident.
like
Everybody's
it.
got their fancy fruity tooty. That was the Randy episode. His peak, I'm assuming. He's not going to make it there again. But like when he goes in with the low class burger and dominates, it's a really entertaining show. And it's fun to watch as a group because you pick up like silly little things that you otherwise wouldn't. Like bad edits audio wise, when they put in like the music where like if someone's about to fuck up because they put that like tuba walking behind a fat person music sometimes. It's very, very funny. All the Gordon Ramsay shows are tremendous.
I like it when I catch unnecessary jumps and stuff. I'm like, I don't know. He'll talk to you and then it'll like zoom in on his face and he'll say something horribly evil. And I'm like, I don't even know that this is the same conversation. Yeah. That could have been from a different day that they're editing this together. I view it with extreme suspicion.
I think that one of his best things where he like hits, I think it's an Asian woman. He like slaps the Asian woman on the side of the face with bread. He's like, "What are you?" It's like an idiot sandwich.
That's the best. That's the meme.
He's great. And like, there's a clip of Gordon with his mentor, and his mentor is like
Marco Pierre White.
Yeah, Marco Pierre White is brutal. Like he tells a story of how like Gordon cried a couple times because he screamed at Gordon when he was. But then you like watch the video of Gordon as like the apprentice, and he's like perfectly straight, perfectly respectful, like watching everything that Jean Pierre whatever does. Like, and so you can see from that clip, like, oh, this is why he gets so pissed when people come into his kitchen and are like, "I know how to make risotto just fine." He's like,
It's Marco. It's Marco.
"No, you don't." Or Marco something. But like you can see like, oh yeah, because when Gordon was an apprentice learning, he was like, shut the fuck up, listen, mimic exactly what they're doing. If you don't know how to do it, ask a question.
Have you watched the old like little documentary they did on Marco where like, I don't know, BBC Two or some shit is like there in the restaurant with him and like he just gives them those flat yes, no answers?
I haven't seen that, no.
Oh, it's so good. You can find it on YouTube. They're like, so when you're making a souffle, is it very important to source your ingredients locally? And he's chopping like potatoes or something. He's like, yes. And do you find that the at dinner service, many of the customers are regulars? Do you see a lot of perhaps famous people? Yes. And then there's like a cut, and she's like, Marco, like we're trying to make a TV show here. If you could punch it up a little bit, maybe like he's like, what do you want? Do you want me to cut myself? Do you want to see me bleed? Tell me right now. I'll cut myself for you. Tell me, would you like to see blood? Is that what you want? Just tell me and I'll give you what you want. Do you want the blood? And like, I know for a fact if she had said yes, he'd have cut himself. Like he literally has a personality disorder. Like you watch and like it becomes very clear that this is an unstable man. Like when Gordon's whole shtick is like almost like making fun, is almost like a Marco impression. Yeah, like I'm sure Gordon is a balanced, hardworking, driven individual. Marco has a personality disorder. He is sick in the head. I have a conspiracy theory about one of Gordon Ramsay's shows. It's MasterChef. I don't recall which season, but it's the season that Paula Deen guest stars. Because here's what happens: the cast has one black man remaining on it. You know, you vote a guy off every week. He loses in week 7. Let's just call it. Mm-hmm. Week 8, Paula Deen is the guest chef. Hey y'all, she comes on in. If you don't remember, she had that big controversy where she had used the N-word quite a lot, and she also had these themed dinners parties at her house that were like antebellum style with black servant folk dressed in period specific slave clothes.
That's a rough look.
It's a rough look. It didn't go over well with a lot of people, and a lot of people are saying it's
no one in the party planning committee.
She was the party planning committee. That's the fucking problem.
She called Robert Downey Jr.
This is
to
that
clear
bitch
it.
from Food Network. She's giving us $2 million. Do whatever she says.
So they canceled her, and she was a big deal on Food Network and everywhere. But she's now Gordon Ramsay's letting her back in and get like, let's see what people think. You know, like testing the waters a little. This is their second appearance since the whole thing. Black guy's been voted off the show. So she does her thing. It's fine. Whatever. I don't give a shit. She leaves the very next episode. It's called the 9th episode. We're doing something very special this episode, something we've never done before. We're going to bring back one chef that we voted off. And of course, it's the black guy. They bring him right back in, and he's like, "Guess who's back, y'all?" It was almost like he was like, "I refuse to be on an episode with Paula Deen. However, you want to work it to make it smooth for your ratings and your people, you do that. But if you make me, I will say." No, thank you. I won't be here with you, you racist bitch. That is what I'm going to say if you make me be on screen with Paula Deen. You fix it. I feel like that happened, and they're like, all right, we're going to vote you off. Then you're going to get to win a competition that's completely contrived and come back the next episode.
I'm in. Let's do it.
I think that's what it was.
I swear,
think you're
it's
exactly
so
right.
weird that happened like that. He didn't seem like the kind of dude who'd be down with Paula either.
Well, what was the dish situation? First of all, Gordon's lying. He's brought back contestants hundreds of times. So first of all,
willy-nilly.
Fact check fake. I've watched enough of his show. He brings people back once a series all the time. But it seems almost as like, oh, wait. This was the question. Was the black guy's dish on the episode that he got kicked off, was it actually the worst dish? Because if it wasn't the worst dish, then you might have something going here.
That was the other thing. It was weird that he even got voted off because he was one of the stronger contestants. It was like, what? Like, yeah, the whole thing seemed contrived. The whole thing seemed like bullshit. Like he wouldn't share the stage with Paula Deen, and they fixed it that way.
There you go.
I wouldn't either. Like that's pretty fucking racist. That thing she did. I think it really is coming from one of those old Southern white lady places. But that seemed really racist.
What was the challenge? Because like all of her food is like it's the same, isn't it? All it's just butter, just
butter.
Well, there's
deep fried butter. It looks good.
I love her food. I use her recipes for stuff sometimes. It's fucking really good. Butter's what makes food.
Do you think Colonel Sanders wasn't racist as shit? The man has the perfect blend of virgin spices.
That man cannot be. There's no way a man who is so hand in glove with the African American community could possibly be a racist. Colonel Sanders is woke as fuck, and I won't hear anything to disparage the colonel's good name.
You don't know.
They made him a goddamn colonel, for Christ's sakes.
You couldn't be more wrong, Kyle. If KFC understood their target market, they would have certain fruits on the menu.
Oh, well, that's
what?
Apricots.
Maybe.
Dude, this guy was alive till 1980. I had in my head he was like Revolutionary wartime.
Just like it. I had no idea.
I was picturing a proud a colonel who like met with a French general and then decided to fight the Brit. No, he's. I don't know why I thought that.
He's a chicken salesman from Kentucky.
He dodged the draft.
Yeah, and it was
I'm completely with you, but why did I think he was Revolutionary War and that the KFC franchise is 300 years old?
I thought this was a much more storied institution.
If that were true, can you imagine the commercials? America's oldest fast food franchise since 1773.
I wanted to mention that. Like it predated McDonald's.
Yeah, that would have. You're right. That would be a huge thing. Since 1792.
You really just dressed kind of funny.
And he wasn't a real colonel.
Well, he was a real colonel. I can't remember.
Honorific title.
That counts.
Ooh.
I'm counting an honorific
He can't command a battalion or a legion or anything.
A battalion of chicken cookers, he could. It was his wife's recipe. That was the secret.
Of chicken cookers.
Yeah, a whole fucking unit of them frying up those delicious birds with those.
Where are you seeing it was his wife's recipe? I'm not seeing that here.
I went to her recipe. It's true. In the divorce, she got to keep the original recipe. He came up with this other thing, but she's got her own. She's got the original Kentucky Fried Chicken there in Kentucky. I've been to it. You sit down and it's like that family style thing where you get like big bowls of everything and there is no ordering. You're like, yeah, we want lunch. And they're like, all right, we'll go get it.
I mean, this guy, I can only imagine how good KFC used to be. Just reading about him, it says that in his later years, so the 70s, he was like actively pissed all the time about like, this isn't the chicken I sell. This is low quality. Like he was pissed about it. And so, like, apparently the end years of his life were him, like, bickering with the people who had taken his company.
Like Papa John. Before
like
him.
Papa
after
John.
him.
Yeah.
Was the rumor true that they had to change it to KFC because they couldn't call it chicken legally?
What? Oh, if that's true, that's
I choose
unreal.
to believe it.
But it is chicken. right?
Well, I think they had served. This is a rumor that I heard years and years ago. I have no idea. Popeyes is way better, but I think that there was something that they had served a chicken product that was overly processed and it could no longer be called chicken, or that they had genetically modified
them
the chickens to have larger breasts and that made them genetically not chickens or something.
Yeah, they made the
that.
chickens have extra tenders.
I googled it. Anyone using Kentucky for their business would first need the state's permission and would be required to pay licensing fees. Kentucky Fried Chicken rebranded to KFC instead of paying licensing fees.
That's
Fuck
much
you,
better
Kentucky.
answer than they weren't serving real chicken.
What a huge middle finger from Kentucky.
If I was Georgia, I'd be like, yo, you can be Georgian fried chicken for free.
That's it. We do it for movies all the time.
The Kentucky Derby became the Run for the Roses. Neil Diamond's song "Kentucky Woman" is no longer played on the radio due to the fee. There's some other people that were impacted by Kentucky's oppressive licensing.
Are a bunch of babies over there. What else? So they're not proud of that at all? If it was Missouri Fried Chicken, if I were in another state and I drove past one, I'd be like, hell yeah, a little taste of home. But yeah, take pride in it.
Well, yeah, I don't know about if you ever ordered around a unit of soldiers or anything, but the man makes a good bird. I do think Popeyes is better. I like that dirty rice. I'll never forget having lunch with my Muslim friend, and he'd never had their dirty rice before. And he was a big fat fuck, and he was all the way through a bowl of it. And I told him it had pork in it, and he started spitting it all over the table, and it made my afternoon. It really did. Fuck you, Garrett, you ex-con piece of shit. Now I'm a fella too.
Fuck you, you piece of shit.
Garrett was the fucking worst. He had taken the rap for our boss on some drug crime and done like a couple years in prison. So then now that our boss was a boss of a car dealership, he made him like the house mouse. So he got all the done deals. Someone like orders 2 Chargers. And even though we're a Ford dealership, because we're corporate, he'd be like, I'll just call them and get 2 of those sent over here, and they'll go through me to you, through Garrett to you, and so yeah, we all hated that guy. Yeah, I've made everything. The only thing I haven't cooked before is that thing where you take the tenderloin and wrap it in the puff pastry and cook it.
Wellington?
Beef Wellington. Yeah, that's the only thing I've never cooked. I've done everything else.
It's apparently very, very hard. Even Gordon Ramsay says, because it's, what is it, like the filet and then you wrap it in prosciutto and then the crushed mushrooms with stuff in there?
That have been like pureed and sauteed to get the moisture out. It's hard to get the puff pastry to be crispy while getting the steak to be cooked to temperature correctly, apparently. And then if you're trying to get artistic with the puff pastry on top, that's its own skill. Some people do this whole thing where it looks like it's like a accordion. It's pretty wild. But no, I've never done that for 2 reasons. One, it's kind of expensive. If you do a full beef tenderloin, they're about $100. And then it's going to take me a couple hours to cook the thing. And then there's the other ingredients. And then what if I fucking ruin it?
Yeah, that'd be a damn shame.
You could do an individual one, though. You could just take a nice tenderloin and like wrap it in puff pastry and bake the fucker. And like I guess you could kind of get there that way.
Yeah, you can find a YouTube video to get you there. Yeah, even the worst chefs on Hell's Kitchen can, get something going with a
here's the thing about Chef's Kitchen that I think they're just under such a rush that it's just almost impossible to do those basic things. So when they can't do what's the thing they always fuck up the
risotto.
The risotto. Yeah. Risotto is like is a rice dish where it's like and it takes a while to do it, and it's either awful or edible. It has like 2 modes. And like they
really
just don't give it. They don't. It's not that good to begin with, first of all, but they don't give them enough time to cook it. It's like, all right, you've got 60 seconds to make a perfect risotto. It's like, sir, it takes at least 3.5, 4 minutes. Like if we're being real here, I can't do it. I wish one of them would just say that. I refuse.
And he just goes like, get out of the kitchen. He just kicks him out.
I just don't think they give them enough time to do some of that stuff because like most of it is simple shit. It's not that they're being tested on like their cooking ability necessarily, like becoming like are you the best chef in the world? Can you cook the most fantastic thing? It's more about like, can you work as a team and be a line cook as like part of a machine, an assembly line?
Yeah,
That's the hard
I think
part.
you're 100% right. Like it's the time limit thing, because you give them unlimited time or like a generous amount of time. Every single person from episode 1, except for like the 2 idiots they bring in to make fun of the first couple episodes, all of them could do everything required.
Dude, how embarrassing is it if you figure out that you're one of the 2 idiots that they only brought in as a joke?
It's got to be embarrassing, because sometimes they talk the biggest. Sometimes they talk the biggest in the first couple episodes, to the point that like it's almost like I'm convincing myself that it's so obviously an inside man, because it'll be like pre any cookery, and they'll be like, I already know my opponents. I know them inside and out, up and down. 2 minutes into episode 1, I'm going to dominate them. They haven't seen my risotto. They haven't seen the way I use spices. I have a perfect palate. Do you know how many people have a perfect palate? It's rare. You give me a fucking green bean, I'll tell you exactly what it is. Yeah. They
ain't
do
no pea.
those tests.
They do those tests where they put they give little tastes of like obscure things, and it's really hard. It's like
and he puts like a blindfold on him and
really
headphones.
Like it's a watermelon.
Sometimes
some of them are.
Oh, they'll get them
bag.
wrong, stuff like that. Like a chef who just made a perfect risotto will like get fed a piece of a banana, and then it'll be like 30 seconds. Gordon's like, answer, Aaron, need your answer. And he's like, strawberry, I don't know. And everyone's like, ha 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 ha. And then they get up there and they fail tremendously. One guy couldn't figure out scrambled eggs at one point, which is, pretty easy to tell if you're eating a scrambled egg or not. Pretty easy to tell if you're eating a watermelon. And like, apparently it must be a hard thing, blindfolded and deafened, because when someone goes like 8 for 8, even if it includes stuff like watermelon or honeydew, banana, if they get it all, Gordon's like genuinely impressed. You can tell when he's genuinely impressed in the show. He's like, right on. Like, I'm surprised. But that is a funny thing, because you would imagine that any chef could name most flavors. It's their job.
You imagine that any person could name most flavors.
Oh, it's
true.
But it's obscure stuff. Like I don't remember the last time I tasted butternut squash, and like I remember that's often one of them. He's got like a little cube of butternut squash, and it's just like I don't even know what that tastes like. Exactly. Yeah, they make soup out of it.
I like that soup.
And they'll like
fattening though.
They'll fuck it up in like an understandable way. It'll be butternut squash, and they'll be like, I don't know, pumpkin. And it's like, okay, you're in the same wheelhouse here.
Yeah.
It's such a good show. My wife and me by extension, I've been watching this show, the Great British Bakery, the Great British Bake Off show.
I watch that shit sometimes, yeah.
It's good. I like that it's a much happier, lighter feel for a cooking show, because you're so inundated in the world of Gordon Ramsay where it's so much yelling and screaming and meanness. Like this old woman who, like every time someone gets kicked off, she's like, and that leaves me to give the horrible news. Jody, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And she's like tearing up to like say goodbye. And it's like, well, this is a much friendlier show.
Have you seen them compare Hell's Kitchen like Britain to US, like the side by side?
Yeah.
It's night and day. The US, it's like it's that music. It's like dun 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 dun, and it's just like, dude, they're fucking making salads. Like, chill the fuck out. What's the worst thing that could happen today? Like a cut finger and a Band-Aid. Like. It's not World War III. But then the British version, it's like, okay, oh, that's right. They're making salads. So the camera's just like, so now they'll make salads. Yeah. It's not always exciting around here, I suppose. But then they'll still stay on for 3 fucking minutes while they all mix salads and shoot the shit and smoke fucking cigarettes.
Yeah.
It's a completely different show.
And I've watched both versions. Like, if you're more interested in the actual cooking, the British one is leagues better. But if you like the hectic nonsense, then the American one's better for sure. Because Gordon goes a little harder in the paint against people in the American one, because he knows that's what's selling his fame. Man, that guy's awesome.
I wonder how much money he's made. I saw a clip the other night, and he was, I guess this guy was getting kicked off the show, and I don't know anything about the background. I haven't seen that season, but he basically paid for the guy's culinary school. I almost said it the way he says culinary. He paid for his culinary school when he like back home or whatever, because he thought he was talented, just didn't really know what he was doing.
He's done that multiple times.
Yeah, it's pretty cool of him. I bet I bet it's pretty cheap for him to do it, though. I would imagine the culinary school is probably like giving him a discount or something like that, or taking care of it for him, or helping him somehow. But then on the other hand, he's worth hundreds of millions of dollars, right?
He's got to say,
I saw one recently where he took care of the kid's parents.
He's done like really nice stuff like that before. Like I'd never seen a parent one. I didn't know that. Like medical bills.
Reddit. It sounded to me like living expenses. It was just a Reddit clip.
Oh, yeah. He's a cool guy sometimes, which brings him around to somewhat likable.
I like when he's hanging out with his family. I like those videos, like when he cooks with his daughter, and his son. Like those are always fun videos. It looks like they have a good time. They're always real lighthearted. Obviously, he doesn't scream at his children. Obviously, he doesn't scream at anyone when there aren't cameras. But it's kind of fun to see like him and his kid like make chicken or fish or something together.
He's the richest chef in the world, right?
I don't know. I don't know. Does Wolfgang Puck have more money? Like has he done more stuff? I don't know.
I thought he was more like a 90s guy.
I don't know.
Maybe he is. Guy Fieri's only 20. I thought he had all that like fucking TGI Fridays money or something.
Oh, 20 million. I was like, no way he's 20. That guy's like 40.
Some guy named Alan Wong is worth $1.1 billion. Absolutely blows the pants off Jamie Oliver and Gordon Ramsay at a paltry $220 million.
Is Emeril Lagasse on the list? That guy was my favorite as a kid.
Wolfgang Puck is number 6, 90 million. Then there's Rachel Ray. Emeril Lagasse, $70 million.
Nice.
Stewart used to cook, right?
She had like the whole empire though. Like
yeah.
Bitch makes furniture.
Yeah. I think she's too rich for this whole list. It would throw off the curve.
I think I might have a Martha Stewart fucking couch out there. Like she's getting it coming and going, man.
No, it's interesting that her reputation didn't really take a hit with the insider trading. If anything, she's just a little cooler now.
Yeah,
honestly, yeah. I don't think anybody cared. Like I don't think anybody cared because
at the time, I think it was a real risk. People thought maybe because the Martha Stewart isn't just a product; it's a brand, it's a vibe, it's a perfect person. Her whole thing was, I don't know, like an almost unachievable perfect mom type deal. Mm-hmm. And then when she becomes this felon for insider trading and the ankle bracelet and the whole thing, it was like when Howard got divorced, right? Howard was this naughty man, but behind the scenes, he was this loyal, great guy. And then that became not true. But that didn't hurt him. And the same thing with Martha. It's parallel.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, I remember the stories about her coming out when it was, many years ago, 16 years ago, when she was going to prison. So 5 months in federal prison in March 2005. There was speculation that the incident would effectively destroy her media empire. But in 2005, she began a comeback campaign. The company returned to profitability in 2006.
I think he ran a marathon with like no preparation. He was like, yeah, I can run a marathon. They're like, dude, are you fucking crazy? People train for years. And he's like, watch this shit.
Oh, so he's just lying. Yeah.
I think he did it.
No one has ever walked up to a marathon and done it and been like, damn, who wants beers? Like,
I guarantee you I could do it because here's why I say this. I've been listening to The Moth, and I caught The Moth, if you don't know, is like competitive storytelling. And two people were talking about their marathon experiences. And in each case, they were the slowest person in the marathon. And like one of them has like an ambulance following them, which is the sweeper. And like they just let everyone know, like, when this event is we're about 4 miles out, this person's going, I think we're about at this pace, an hour and a half away from being done. And I start doing the math and I'm like, 8 hours. You ran a marathon in 8 hours, 26 miles in 8 hours. There doesn't have to be any running involved. That's walking with lunch breaks. I can do that. I guarantee you I could finish a marathon.
You've done it before.
That doesn't count.
Have you ever hiked that far? Maybe when you're doing the John Murin Trail or whatever the thing was.
John Muir, yeah. I want to say we topped out at like 14 or 16 miles in a day, but we had a pack on. My pack weighed like 55, 60 pounds.
Yeah, and were you like pooped? Was it like fall on the ground and collapse, or was it set up camp and eat dinner?
Exactly. It was that. It was, we should stop now because we want to have 2 hours before sun goes down to set everything up and start the fire.
Yeah, I'm with you on this. I don't know much about. I don't know anything about running. If you're doing like a sub 5 hour thing.
That's a runner. That's a person who's done a thing.
Yeah, it's like 5 miles an hour or something.
Okay, well then you can't count that you've done a marathon if you're. It doesn't count if you've walked at all. If you
ran a marathon. I want to know what Oprah's marathon time was.
Yeah, no, walking a bunch of miles slowly is not running a marathon. I believe him that he drunkenly, ambled 26 miles in between bars for 10 hours or whatever. But like that does not a marathon make.
Which circles us back to what's Bert's time? Because if we don't know Bert's time, we have to.
Right, I got it.
That's such a lie.
The man, the myth, the legend, Bert Kreischer, the person that inspired my weight loss journey. Oh my God, this is like one of those recipe things where they're going to give me a goddamn story. Bert Kreischer ran the LA Marathon, 26.2 miles. He did it in 5 hours and 33 minutes with zero preparation. And then he ran a half marathon on 2 weeks' notice, and then a full marathon 4 months later. The man has an iron will, and then they go on and kissing his ass. And then here's his official times. Like on the website, they show his placement. It's a 5:33:33. His pace was a 12 minute and 5 second mile throughout. So
that's
good
one of the pace?
I mean, that's a good pace if you ask me. I don't think I could do that. 12.
I couldn't do that. No,
I don't think I could do
Ashton
that.
Kutcher did sub 4 hours. Nice, but he's athletic.
Yeah, I bet he trained with a fuck. Whenever you hear that stuff, it's like, yeah, I bet Ashton Kutcher probably hired a goddamn. He was like, "Hey, did you win the marathon last year? I win it every year. Hey, you want to be buddies?" Yes, I do. Like I've done this before.
You win it with an African accent though, because he's from Kenya, clearly.
Oh yes, I win every year. I run.
When are the rest of the racers going to start trying? I'm tired of these.
Kevin Hart did about 4 hours, 4:05. I mean, people can't see that. Chelsea Clinton.
That's like 50 miles.
4 hours.
Yeah,
I didn't know she was a runner like that.
I bet she
never
ran
looked that
college.
Skinny.
Yeah, I bet you ran it slow, but I mean,
Gordon
you don't go up against the
Ramsay did
Clintons.
3:30. Now Gordon Ramsay,
he's fit.
He fluctuates, I think, a little bit, but his peak is very good. Is he?
He's he's gotta be because
I think so.
I admire Gordon Ramsay tremendously because he's a man who wasn't a good looking man for a part of his life. I think being over those stoves and ovens as intensely as he was really wrinkled his face, and his chin did that weird thing where it got
like a crease in his chin.
It turned into like a raisin where it had so many folds and unnatural folds.
Can I see his picture, Zach?
Oh, yeah,
his like chin.
It's been
does that
fixed
when he grimaces, or when he used to grimace, and he does a lot of grimacing. Maybe that added.
Slow down, Pam. I bet the TV coverage was great for Pam Anderson running.
Right, she finishes with 2 black eyes. Pamela Anderson did it in 5 minutes 41 seconds. For those that didn't get the joke,
5 minutes.
5 hours and 41 minutes. I'm stupid.
But so
he's looking good.
He's had plastic surgery. They fixed his.
It's like he's
chin
sucking
there.
on something sour.
They worked on his forehead some because his forehead has always been really, really creased and wrinkled. And his hairline has done a lot of stuff. I've seen it change over the years, but I love Gordon. I love that he hasn't gone like freak mode, and like who is it the judges are used to judge back in the day? American Idol. Who's that guy? Simon Cowell. Simon Cowell went almost Michael. He's halfway to Michael Jackson.
Really?
Quarter of the way.
We saw a picture of him. He looks horrific.
Yeah, it's real bad.
Ugly, and didn't he start? He sort of had a, the Sammy Sosa kind of Frankenberry face he's evolved into.
A little bit. I was thinking Donatella. Who's the designer? Donatella
Barbarici.
Oh, fuck off. Anyway, she got that plastic bloated fake face. Donatella Versace. Yeah, she's got that crazy plastic surgery like that too. That's unfortunate. I've seen, dude, they do a better job than that at the mortuary.
Dude, on the right, he looks like my attempt at a wax sculpture.
He looks so bad on the right that I have to hope it's temporary. Like he's swollen a little bit. He should have stayed inside.
Oh, I don't even match.
Yeah,
it's wowzers. I don't know.
That's terrible. Is he? Does he do anything anymore? Like, is he still yelling at people on TV?
Yeah.
On some? Is American Idol still?
He's got an empire of those things.
It's not that. Is it America's Got Talent? Is that what he does now? I'm mixed up.
Yeah. So
X Factor. Okay.
So I don't follow that stuff at all, but it used to be America's Got Talent. That was the story, the thing he had like 8 years ago, 10 years ago. But the thing was, Howard Stern had that job. America's Got Talent was hosted by Howard Stern, Howie Mandel, and that blonde ex model, Natasha, I don't know who, pretty blonde lady, like model. And basically Cowell conspired with network executives to steal Howard Stern's job. He was like, you give me the job and I'll do this on these other projects too. I'll commit to this, that, and the other. He gave them a lot of stuff that Howard couldn't do. Cause Howard's just given part-time on Thursday nights or something like that. Cause he has a radio show. Yeah, Howard took that well.